Good Friday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Chris Harapsky. Breaking this afternoon, the ICE agent who shot Julio Sosa Celis in Minneapolis is now in custody. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty says Christian Castro was arrested this morning in Texas. The Minnesota BCA was on scene for that arrest. Castro faces 4 counts of second-degree assault and 1 count of falsely reporting a crime. He shot Sosa Celis in the leg on January 14th. Now, originally, Castro said that he was ambushed and beaten with a shovel and a broom for several minutes before he fired his weapon. City video from the scene contradicts that, showing a struggle before the shooting that lasted about 10 seconds. It also shows that a shovel and a broom were not used on the agent. ICE Director Todd Lyons has acknowledged Castro lied about the circumstances around that incident. Developing right now, 2 people are in the hospital and 1 person is in custody after a shooting at Nicollet Mall this morning. It happened on Nicollet and 9th. This is just before 8:30 this morning. Police tell us that both people who were shot were rushed to the hospital. The suspect left the scene but was arrested several hours later. That's according to police. Right now, police are trying to figure out what led up to that shooting. Developing right now, charges today connected to the death of Jonte Lee. He's the Brooklyn Park man whose body was found earlier this week after he was missing for months. The man last seen with Jonte was arrested on probable cause of murder. This is the last known video of Jonte Lee leaving home with a friend, now in custody, on the night of March 10th. It's also the last time that his family saw him. The 2 men were involved in a disturbance later that night. Investigators say Lee walked away from the scene, but he never made it home. Jonte's family says that they were left in the dark about this case, and this arrest should have been made long ago.
It was torture, going through this, not knowing where he's at.
And it makes it even more upsetting knowing that we've drove by here every day, and that's just where my brother has been laying, and now we can't give him a proper burial. It seemed like a lack of urgency and a lack of compassion, a lack of care.
It was excuse after excuse.
Yep. It's just a big slap in our face, and we feel like we don't matter.
Families planning on hosting an all-day vigil today. It's in Brooklyn Park's Central Park. They also plan on pushing for legislation demanding more transparency from officials with how they handle missing persons cases and getting more help for people that are battling addictions. Just in this afternoon, Senator Amy Klobuchar has picked former Fergus Falls Mayor Ben Shire as her lieutenant governor in that race. In a video announcing the decision, Klobuchar says that he has created opportunities in greater Minnesota. He's run 2 businesses and knows how to bring people together. Shire grew up in Fergus Falls and served on the city council starting in 2004 and then was elected mayor in 2016 and then re-elected again in 2020. On top of that, it's a huge political weekend in Minnesota. Today, both the DFL and Republican parties begin their state conventions to endorse candidates for state and federal races. DFL is gathering in Rochester through Sunday. The Republicans will hold their convention in Duluth, wrapping up on Saturday. Candidates who win the endorsements at the convention don't automatically become the nominee in November. Primaries are held in August, so the people elect them. Having an endorsement, though, gives candidates the backing and the financial resources of their state party heading into those primaries. Both parties will also make endorsements for executive offices like Attorney General, Secretary of State, and Auditor. Well, developing right now overseas, U.S. and Iranian negotiators reached a tentative agreement to extend the ceasefire in the 3-month-old war by 60 days and start a new round of talks on Iran's nuclear program. According to 2 U.S. officials, President Trump is reviewing the latest version of a potential agreement with Iran, but has not yet signed off on it. NBC's Matt Bradley reports from Tel Aviv.
Well, it's another day here in the Middle East where peace for the entire region really hangs in the balance. We're still waiting to hear from the White House on their decision on a proposed memorandum of understanding that is taking shape between the Americans and the Iranians. These negotiations, they were the topic of a lot of optimism earlier in the week. And since then, we've seen the U.S. and Iran exchanging fire on at least 2 occasions. And since then, we've heard American diplomats saying that it could take several more days until the details are ironed out. A senior Arab diplomat who's involved in these talks told NBC News that the talks have been frustrating, that it's been a game of chicken and egg, and that actually the whole deal had been agreed upon days previously, and that only now, over the past couple of days, both sides have been delaying, both of them, going back to their home countries and trying to iron out the remaining details. So, still waiting to be seen whether or not President Trump will give the green light to a deal that could, according to early drafts that have been reviewed in the media, open up the Strait of Hormuz, but possibly kick most of the thorniest issues like Iran's nuclear enrichment or its highly enriched uranium, or financing for Iran's reconstruction, or Iran's funding of proxy groups, a whole wealth of issues. This deal could see them just kicked further down the road, the subject of future negotiations. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Breaking news overnight in Cape Canaveral. Take a look at your screen on your phone, your computer, your TV. This incredible video showing a Blue Origin rocket exploding during an engine firing test last night, shaking homes in that area. Wow. According to the company, no one was hurt and there's no harm to the public from fumes from that massive explosion. Scary. Right now, the company's trying to figure out what exactly caused the blast. Right now, Hennepin County health officials are testing the waters at local beaches to make sure that they're safe for swimming. Our Ian Russell tagged along.
On a hot summer's day, it's good to hit the beach.
Beautiful Wayzata Beach.
But leave the beach unchecked, and it might hit you back.
We're here collecting samples, which we send to the lab for E. coli.
Every summer, Hennepin County crews check dozens of beaches trying to keep everybody safe. E. coli is nasty.
Usually it's going to be indicative of some kind of poop.
And can make you feel even worse.
It can develop into some sort of stomach issues.
So every Monday, interns like Clara Rooney take a walk.
We're kind of monitoring as the levels get higher. I'll take a temperature and record it on the bottle as well as the time that I take the sample.
All of that data matters because it helps build out the full scope of how infected something may be.
That day, the water's testing high. Well, maybe that's our indicator that the feces was the reason that the E. coli was high.
Samples are then packed up.
So I bring it straight to the cooler where I have an ice pack.
Off to the lab to be tested. A hot summer's day and one best spent by the water.
It's just important things to know and then communicate with the beach owner and manager.
Water kept safe.
Looking at trends over time.
From checks like these.
Protect the public and keep people safe is why we do the samples.
Ian Russell reporting there. Right now, local leaders and police are raising concerns about a growing trend in the metro and across the country. Teen takeovers. Brooklyn Center police say on Sunday about 50 kids caused problems that forced Firehouse Park to close. The next night, officers were called back again for fights, fireworks. More than 100 kids gathered at the park. In Crystal, officials say the city dealt with 3 straight nights of teen takeovers in March at Becker Park. The mayor says police are now watching social media more closely to try and catch these gatherings before they happen.
They're trying to get ahead of it and encourage people. You don't want to come because we're going to be here waiting for you. My biggest concern is the safety for everyone.
Just this week in Chicago, more than 50 people were arrested at a teen takeover down there. 3 people were shot, several officers injured. Imagine teaching fitness classes for 40 years. Well, today an instructor at the Lifetime Fitness in Fridley is in her first day of retirement after teaching classes for 40 years. As Sammy Salinas shows us, she's leaving behind a pretty incredible legacy.
All right, who's grateful and thankful to be here this morning and what happened?
It may be a surprise to Marlena Nord.
Are you surprised the news is here?
Yes, very surprising.
That so many are making a big deal out of her retirement.
The best instructor I have ever had.
But she's the only one who's shocked.
And she's so well loved.
She brings a lot of joy into our lives every single day.
And again, breathe in, exhale.
It's her last day at Lifetime Fitness in Fridley. She's worked here for 35 years.
That's a really long time. And for somebody that helps your health, it's everything.
She teaches Pilates and dance.
I think the only time they ever dislike you is when you tell them to hold or pulse.
I know, it's hard.
Thank you. Such an inspiration.
Thank you, honey.
Love you.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
It's the last time she'll tell her class to hold for 5.
I'm trying to keep my cool.
And the last time she'll ask folks to grapevine to the left.
Hey, with the attitude, come on, let's go.
I say all the time that she's like goals. She's like goals for when
yes,
I'm 70.
Yes.
Like
I want to be
you'd
Marlena
never guess
when I'm
bet she's, what is she, 70?
70.
You'd never guess.
Yes, no.
Not only does she look youthful at 70, she makes people feel young.
I'm 87 and she keeps me going, still keeps me going, you know.
And I'm guessing you won't be surprised to know that she's always been this energetic from the moment she was born in Venezuela.
I have a lot of energy. When I was younger, I took dance classes, so I know that I had a lot of energy. So I had to put it to use, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
She's gonna make us cry.
Yes, we're gonna deeply miss her, and yeah, we're all a little teary.
Her students tell me working out won't be the same without her.
She's what brings the joy.
No surprise there. Sammy Solina, Kare 11 News.
Stick with us. We got more news and weather coming up after the break.